Well, hello out there in social media land. It is an amazing evening here on Victoria Elevates, and we are so excited to come tonight to bring you the premier for Coach2Coach. I am your hostess. I'm Victoria Collin. I am the CEO, founder, and facilitator of Victoria Elevates. And we are the umbrella for elevated, not tolerated coaching and motivational services, as well as a few other items that we have under our belt. And so I am super excited to be able to come to you on tonight. This is a preview to the preview, right? So, every good show always has a trailer that they play before they actually have the official start of the program. And so that's what we're doing tonight. This is our trailer, if you will, to Coach2Coach. And Coach2Coach actually is going to be something fun. It's going to be something exciting. It's going to be something helpful that we're going to be really pushing in 2024. This program is designed for our fellow coaches, consultants, therapists, anybody that actually has contact with other individuals that we're trying to help, right? I am a certified master life coach in very different niches. I am also a certified professional achievement facilitator. And basically what that means is that I am your chief personal development person. I want to be able to tell you that, anything that we go through different aspects of it through the professional development process. And being a certified professional achievement facilitator means I want to see you get to that next level. I want you to be able to rise above everything else. And let me just go ahead and tell you what Victoria Elevate stands for. Elevate, not tolerate, means to rise above anything and everything that has held us down and has caused us to feel inadequate. But my friends, with you and I together, we rise above all of those things because it's time for us to be empowered, embraced, and educated, to be elevated and not tolerated. So guys, what is Coach2Coach? Like I said, it is an opportunity for us as coaches and fellow colleagues to be able to share because, we do a lot behind the scenes, as a certified master life coach. And some of you out there, my fellow colleagues, you're coaches, life coaches, business coaches, motivational speakers, you name it, we do it, right? And sometimes we forget that we need to take care of ourselves in the same process, right? And so Coach2Coach is just us talking. It's real talk between us. It's real opportunity for us to be able to sit down and kind of, have a venting area too. Because sometimes dealing with clients all day, some of you deal with clients all day. Sometimes I'm doing group coaching more than I do anything. I teach more classes than I do anything right now. But that's getting ready to change in 2024. Don't tell nobody, right? All of that's getting ready to revamp, which is another reason why we're here tonight too. Is because we're doing some upgrades, and we're doing some changes to our programs, and so you're probably going to see us here on different levels a little bit more frequently than you have seen us before, which is great for me because I do believe there's time for us to always change and increase and empower and stretch our wings a little bit, right? And sometimes we don't get to stretch our wings, and that's one of the things that being a part of Coach2Coach is that we'll be able to help each other understand what that looks like on a different level. And so this is the opening. This is where we're going to talk about some things. We're going to learn how to share some ideas with one another. We're going to have some moments where we can laugh and talk about some things. But we also want to be able to give the opportunity to be able to help other coaches, and inspire them. Because I don't know about you, I didn't get into this by myself. I knew some people that knew some people that knew some people, right? And I needed that extra push in the game in order to get myself to that next level. It was an opportunity to do what I believe that I am blessed to be able to do, and that is to empower other people. But that meant that some other folks had to inspire me to get to that point, and that's where I'm at right now. Is where other people have inspired me. This is my way of giving back to them as well. I don't know about you, and I don't know who I'm talking to on tonight, but sometimes we got to understand that the big payback is the big give back, right? And what I mean that it is inspiring other people who are maybe in the business or may have been in business for a while, but just need an extra push, need somebody else that they can lean on. The old song is lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. So sometimes you just need somebody else that you can lean on that can help you feel more and energetic. Because sometimes in this business, guys, we lose energy. We get to the point where some things we are just moving and moving and moving in motion, but we're really not doing the things that we really need to do. And sometimes we even lose the true passion, that true energy that we need to keep moving on doing what we're doing. And that's the reason why Coach2Coach is here. Coach2Coach is also a part of the Coaches on Parade event. If you've known me for a while, Coaches on Parade is an event that we do quarterly. We took the year 23 off, just kind of revamping some other things. And some of you may know this. I actually am a COVID survivor. I'm what they call a long hauler. So we took 23 off from doing the Coaches on Parade, but the Coaches on Parade is coming back. And so some of you that are watching right now, you have the opportunity, if you desire, to sign up and be a part of that. What is the Coaches on Parade? I'm glad you asked as a fellow coach. The Coaches on Parade is a quarterly event that we get together. We have um, a workshop, if you will, a group coaching, if you will, for people that are interested in knowing what coaches are about. Because we have people out there who may have never experienced the avenue or the arena of coaching. And this is what the Coaches on Parade will do. The Coaches on Parade will actually be, it's usually about 10. I usually have about 10 coaches that come onto the program. They talk about 30 minutes about what they do and what their niches are. And people that do not understand those avenues will be able to have the opportunity to hear the coaches directly talk to them about their programs. And we call it the Coaches on Parade because it's different coaches with different niches, and we're all getting together to do what we do best, talk about our expertise. And so by you being a part of Coach2Coach, you'll be able to know about that when that's coming up, and you'll be able to participate along with us. So don't be worried, because in 2024, we're going to keep on pushing some other programs to bring coaches and more into the forefront so people can see what we actually look like from a different perspective. Hey, Miss Carrie, thanks for watching. Miss Carrie is she is a, how do I want to say it? She is one of the supporters of coaches of Victoria Elevates, which is Elevated Not Tolerated Coaching Program. And she is one of those supporters of everything that Victoria Elevates does. And we are super excited that she is a part of joining us tonight. Miss Carrie, we thank you so much for being with us tonight. We kind of pop that out there, but we thank Miss Carrie. You're going to hear more about her when you come to our events, because she operates a program called All About Music, and we'll be telling you more about that, as she is one of those people that we will continue to support her endeavors and her programs. So let's get into what Coach2Coach is tonight. As I told you, this is the pre-show to the pre-show, right? And so we'll be coming on probably once a week just to kind of boost up the energy, because if you're dealing with other people, there are things that we can help each other to do better to help our clientele. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how to help other clients. We want to talk about that customer service piece, because not everybody is built the same way. And so we have to understand that there's some clients out there that we have to reach in a different way. And sometimes we forget how to do that because we're into our whole process, right? So that's one of the things that we're going to talk about here on Coach2Coach, is how we talk to our clientele, how we empower them, how we inspire them to get to that next level. We want you to be able to give your best to your clientele. And sometimes that just means that we need to talk to other people in the field, other customer service providers, all service providers that may come onto the Coach2Coach program may not truly be coaches, but they may be people that actually deal with clientele. And sometimes you just need that extra push too, just to be able to get to your next level, right? And so tonight we're going to talk about, because some of you we won't see it to next year, y'all. Can y'all believe it? We're on the tail end of the year. We are at the push. Today is the 28th, and we are getting ready to roll over to what? 2024. Can you believe it? I can tell you that this has been a very challenging year for me in several different areas, but mainly because I've had to do some revamping and some reprocessing. If you are a coach or you are a service provider, you as well know what that looks like when you've got to change, you got to pivot right in the middle of what you're doing, right? Sometimes we have to pivot our whole process to be able to understand what it looks like to run our businesses effectively. And sometimes in the midst of that, you got to change gears. It's like, you're driving a stick shift vehicle, and you got to change that gear to get up the hill and change the gears back again down so that you can be able to move differently. But it's the same thing when you're a service provider, when you're that person out there helping somebody else, when you're helping that client. Miss Carrie, she has other clients that are in the musical industry. So she has clients that she has to oversee. She has to do certain things for those clients to get them ready, right? And so she's a service provider on that level, a project management, if you would. So we as people that are service providers have to know how to handle who we are in order to push to, right? I deal with helping clients develop personal development skills. I also help clients to understand their mindset. I also deal with personal relationships, things of that nature. So it's sometimes me dealing with me means that I have to be able to understand how to be on the other side. But can I be honest with you? As a service provider, we need to be able to handle each other's. We need to handle each other. How we handle ourselves is going to reflect on how we handle our clientele. And that's another reason why Coach2Coach is available. And that's what we're pushing, that we're going to be doing, because as service providers, we need that extra strength. We need that extra push to help us get to the next level. Hey, Coach Deborah Gilmore is with us tonight too. Hey, Coach, thanks for joining. So as service providers, we need to be able to know how to get ourselves in perspective too. And so in order for us to be able to help those other individuals out there. It's one thing to be a coach, it's one thing to be a service provider, but it's one thing that actually have to be accountable for ourselves as well. We as coaches, we have to be able to understand how to handle our business as much as we handle the clientele that we're serving. Being a servant leader goes so much further than what people actually think about. And sometimes coaches, service providers haven't always gotten the great name that we used to have back in the day, right? Let's just be real. Some service providers that we are now, we're coming by some of those individuals that we had to actually see fall down, get back up, and push it through another level, right? And some of the titles that we have is now not always getting the proper attention that it needs. Let me tell you one thing's for certain and two things for sure. I am one of these individuals that I'm not big on titles, but I am big on serving who I have to serve. My community is who I have to serve, and that's what's most important to me. As coaches, as service providers, we have to understand how important being able to help people can be, and because it does. What we do for other people can change the trajectory of their lives and what they're intended to do. So we don't want to lose that. We don't want to lose that momentum because we're falling short on other areas. And that's another reason for Coach2Coach, right? It's an opportunity for us to vent to each other and be able to say, look, this is what I've had to go through with, and this is what I'm experiencing, and this is what I need help with. So it's time for us to kind of look at some things on a different level. It's time for us to kick it up a notch, because as servant leaders, I don't care what servant leadership you're in. I don't care as you're will hear me say from time to time, from the pulpit to the corner store, if you are serving other people, there's things that you have to do in order to get through that process as well, right? Every good coach, every good service leader needs another good service leader. Me and the different perspectives and the different positions that I have held over the years has required me to be able to experience some things and be able to help other fellow servant leaders. I apologize. See, I'm giving you the bloopers right now. See, this is the thing. As I'm thinking about some of the things that we are dealing with right now, we as individuals have the opportunity to revamp the whole process and be able to push to another level, right? So tonight, what I want to talk about a little bit, like I said, I'm not going to be here long, child, because it's it ain't Friday night, it's Thursday night, right? One of the things I will tell you is I love to have fun. I love to laugh. I love to see you laugh as well. So what I'm telling you is tonight, we want to talk about a subject that I think is going to be beneficial not only to coaches, but it's going to be beneficial as well to any type of servant leader. Like I said, we have to look at business from a different perspective and we have to push it in another avenue, right? So coach to coach, right? We're servants to servants, right? So tonight I want to talk about cultivating your growth, cultivating your own growth. What does that look like as a servant leader? No, you're probably already thinking, Coach, wait a minute. We have dealt with clients all day long, all year long, and you want us to talk about cultivating our own growth? In order for us to move into 2024, one of the things that we have to be able to do is be doing some things for ourselves. How can we help our clients if we can't help ourselves? The same techniques that you use with your clients is the same techniques that you should be using for yourself. You say, well, how do you know that? Well, being in the coaching industry for the number of years that I've been in it, being certified and non-certified, because let's be honest, as servant leaders, we have been serving longer than we've had that piece of paper or those letters behind our names, right? But when we start talking about it, it seems like we may not understand that we have gone from one point to the other, right? Even in 23, we're at the end. As I've said on my lives that I do on other days, on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, when I talk about, it's time for us to look at the fact that we're not ending, we are beginning to go into a next, right? And because we never want to say that we're ending something until it's a finish, it's a wrap. And you say, well, Coach, that doesn't make sense because we are finishing up 23. Are we finishing it or are we opening the door to 24? I like to think that we're opening a new door is what we're doing, not actually closing anything, but opening something new. So one of those things is we got to learn how to cultivate our own growth. And that we're at the end of the year, we're at the time where we start putting things together and we start revamping and replanning, right? Can I be honest with you? Every person that is a servant leader, every person that is a business owner, one of the things that you got to understand is that reevaluating your process throughout the year is not wrong. It's something that's going to empower your business. It's going to cause you to see some things on a greater level, and it's going to give you the strength that you need to push to your next level. When I think about what some things I needed to do differently, it took me almost 6 months to figure out one thing that I needed to have done at the beginning of the year. It wasn't because I didn't have the knowledge. It's because I hadn't experienced it. I hadn't opened myself up to the process. See, as a tenured individual, I will put it that way, it's a lot of times we have to be able to introduce ourselves to new processes, right? But before we get into that, then the first thing, because I'm going to give you 5 key points for tonight, right? And the first thing I wanted to give you some information on, or we're going to talk about, is this: self-reflection. As we are getting into that next level, right? As we're getting ready to process and go into another level, there's a lot of times that we spend a significant amount of time in helping others in their personal and professional development, right? However, can I be honest with you? It is crucial to prioritize our own growth as well. I don't know about you, but as a servant leader, and a coach, I'm always telling everybody else, it's time to prioritize your work, prioritize who you are. Time management is key. Make sure that you do this. Make sure that you do that. But can you be honest that sometimes if we took time to really look at some things, have we done that process completely for ourselves? Because that could be the key of why we didn't see the growth potential that we needed to see. I got to be honest, guys. Coach to Coach is going to help me because I'm going to be able to help see some of you all give me some feedback. Because one of the things that I realized is that, I had a process. I needed to stick to the process, but sometimes I got off track. Sometimes I didn't follow through what was on my calendar. Sometimes I let some other things go in that shouldn't have came in, and I let some things go out that I shouldn't have, right? And when you're talking about that self-reflection, you have to look at it. You have to be transparent and honest with yourself. You have to say to yourself, what did I say that I was going to accomplish in 23 that I didn't even touch? One of the things for me was I was supposed to complete 3 books. I completed 2, but I haven't completed the third one, and it's the 28th day of December, right? And you're saying, but that, doing a book can take a process. That is true. Writing a book can be a process. Writing a course outline can be a process. Writing a coaching program can be a process. Writing a new grant can be a process. However, if you stick to the plan, there's some things that you have to put into your daily activities that's going to help you build even more. Being able to self-reflect on that, being able to be honest and transparent and look at those things and say, I didn't complete this. I didn't do this. I should have done this. It's nothing wrong with being honest with yourself. One of the key things is knowing your own weaknesses, being transparent to yourself and understanding who you are and why you are is most effective. It's one of the key things that we as individuals have to see for ourselves. Hey, Coach K, one of my other fellow coaches, is in the house. So glad to have you ladies out there with me tonight. What a pleasure. When I tell you that when you start looking at that self-reflection piece, you can pick up the pieces. The old song said, pick up the pieces. Y'all know nothing about that. Miss Carrie, put that song on for me, girl. But sometimes you have to pick up the pieces while you drop them, right? And sometimes that means that you have to be transparent enough to be and self-reflect and be able to see it. In the classes that I teach, I try to tell my students the key to the biggest process of understanding our true personal development is understanding the root. And when you do self-reflections, you are actually looking at the root, where something took place and how it came into place, right? So the first key of cultivating is being able to do that key thing of self-reflection, being able to be honest with ourselves and look at it from a clear perspective. Doing something that you can put down and you can say to yourself, this is where it happened and this is what I needed to do. Well, the other thing that I want us to take a look at is this right here. Invest in your continued education. And that can be done so many different ways. One of the things is I'm a personal development coach, but perhaps I need to go over and talk to Coach K. She's a mindset coach. I'm a mindset coach too, but that is her expertise, right? So if I want to get more, if I want to be more fluent in that area for myself, I got to spend some time investing in that continued education. And what that means is sometimes you need to go out there and take a class or two, guys. I just finished up a class the other day that I thought, golly, I've been meaning to take this class all year long, but it was a self-paced class. Let me give you some warnings about those self-paced classes, right? Those self-paced classes. Let me tell you something about that. It is good, but it can be also detrimental. And what I mean by that is, check this out. Because it's self-paced means that you can pick it up whenever you want to. But again, if you go back to the self-reflection, you will put that process in your schedule. Investing in your education in whatever you are coaching, whatever you are a servant leader for, you'll be able to see how the transitions of things grow, how things transition into a different level. When you're investing in your continued education, that means you're trusting the process to go deeper than what you have imagined. It's time for us to look at these things on a different page, my friends. It's time for us to understand how important it is to invest in some continuing education. If you're going to invest in another coach, make sure that you go ahead and start putting that into process. It's 2023. We're getting ready to walk over to 24 in just a couple of days. Why not go ahead and invest in another coach that you need in order to help you get through another process? One of the things that I'm teaching right now to my group coaching session is building positive relationships, right? Building positive relationships. Well, I have coaches that are a part of that. There are coaches that are part of that classroom because we as coaches need to understand what building a positive relationship means. A lot of times we don't understand it. We don't want to deal with it. We just want to go through the motions of helping somebody else develop a plan, telling somebody else what to do. Even though as coaches, we shouldn't be telling people what to do. We should be helping people understand the process, right? In any servant leadership position, that's what we should be doing, is helping people see the next, right? But in my classes, I have coaches that are now in my positive self-building class that are helping them own selves and myself, if you will, because a good coach, if you're teaching group sessions, you should be able to take the classes with your students, right? But so what I'm telling you is that there are coaches that are in my classroom right now that are helping themselves by taking the positive self-building class and understanding how important it is to build positive relationships, because it doesn't just stop. Because when you're a coach and you are helping somebody else, you want your clientele to feel like they can trust you, right? That's building a rapport with them. So sometimes you got to invest in how to do that. I have put it out there for people to invest in taking that class because it's very helpful to the process of understanding how other people's minds think. Miss K is that coach, that mindset coach, right? But in the same perspective, you have to understand that building a relationship is more than what it looks like on the surface. It's not just about Tom and Jane getting married or Sally and Bob getting married or even getting that promotions. It's understanding how that process works with other people, building a solid foundation from the beginning, investing in your continued education in the niche that you are doing is most important. I know everybody's got a pitch class. That's great. We do need to know how to throw those pitches out there. When I'm dealing with my clientele, and some of those are looking at business entities and being able to build up their business, one of the things I want to encourage them is knowing how to throw that pitch to people that you're building positive relationships with. It's not just about one thing, it's about the whole aspect of it, right? So when you continue to invest in your knowledge and in the resources that's available to you, then you can increase your servantship to other people. Know your product. Know what the trends are. Know how things are transitioning through your process. As a coach to a fellow coach, we need to be able to understand what that next level of marketing is. From one servant to another servant, it's important to know what that next level is. Understanding each other is a process that we are able to process even on a different level. Every time we are in the process, we are pushing to another place. See, this is the thing. When you thank you so much, Kay. That is so true. When you're learning from another coach, it adds dimensions to your own portfolio by adding another facet to your perspective. See, that's the thing. You got to understand that we're in this together. If you are a good coach, then you understand that the process of being connected with other coach is not that they're competition, but there are actually another source. And we have to be able to look at it that way, guys. Look at the people that are around you and see what possibilities it is to collaborate. When we're looking at these areas, it's time for us to understand that we can push to another level. The third thing I want to talk about is celebrating your wins. When you're cultivating your growth, when you're cultivating and you're seeing how far you've gotten in 23, give yourself a pat on the back, baby. You went through all the process. You did the self-reflections. You saw how important it was to invest in your own education, to increase your process. You met with some other coaches and you rubbed some elbows together. That was great. But look, let's celebrate some of those wins that you had. Celebrating some of the wins could be, for me, for instance, is that, I had 3 classes that I wanted to get taught in 23, and we got them taught. It was a challenge, but we got it done. Right? We introduced some new podcasting techniques. We introduced some new things. Those were my wins. I had to say great to that. I had some new people that came on my other podcast, Uncensored Conversation, Sunday nights. Don't miss it. But we also had new people that came on the show, new interesting guests. That's a win for me, because we didn't continue to have the same people. Don't get me wrong, I have some regulars on my show that I will be having next year as well. But it's also good to bring in some new faces, be able to do some new things. Even tonight for me is exciting because I'm doing something different. I'm introducing a new product before 23 is out. Coach2Coach, that's a new podcast. That's a new program for me. So when I'm telling you to pat yourself on the backs for the wins, say to yourself, girl, boy, man, woman, I did that daggone thing. I did get that book printed. I did get that client all the way through their process. There's some people that you're coaching right now that you're able to help them get through their process that you didn't think you were going to be able to get through. Can I tell you, there's some people that I have been coaching and I thought, by golly, if they don't stick to the process, that's it, Miss Carrie. That you had that outreach program and it was the biz on bomb. Accept that win and walk with it gracefully. Put on that crown and walk across that stage. Grab your roses, grab your glass of wine. Say, baby, I did the daggone thing. I did it. I won it, and it worked. Right? Celebrate your wins. If nobody can celebrate with you, celebrate on your own. One of the things that I've learned in 23, and one of the things I'm going to be teaching my students when they come back from Christmas break, is talking about what you can do to celebrate those wins. Sometimes you got to take your own self on an imaginary dinner or an imaginary place and be happy to process it a different way. Sometimes you got to see it before you even have it. Sometimes you got to make sure that you know that if it didn't happen, it didn't happen. But you also know those things that did happen. When I tell you, looking at being at Miss Carrie's event and seeing the process that she went through behind the scenes and saw her end result of her project, it was absolutely amazing. You got to be able to accept your wins and know how to push to your next level. Get with some people that can celebrate with you, right? You guys are out there with me tonight. You are people that can celebrate with me, and I appreciate you. Let me just say that one more and again, just in case I haven't said it lately. To you ladies that are out there with me tonight, I celebrate you for celebrating with me, because you could have been doing something else, but you chose to help me celebrate. So guess what? That means I'm going to help celebrate you as well. And that brings us to point number 4. You ready for this? Give a little love to your fellow coaches, your fellow servantships, right? When you give a little love to the people that have helped you, do you not know that that's inspiring them to go to that next level? I can't tell you how many times I've probably had to reach out to some of you all and say, hey, can you just say one more kind word? Because sometimes it's about the love that we give to each other that makes us move to the next, puts that energy back into us. There are some people, places, and things that have been in my life through 23 that weren't in my life in 22 and beyond before, but they've been in with me for 23, and I am super excited that they're with me. Give a little love to your fellow coaches. Can I be honest with you? There are also some times that we need to come out of our pocket. We need to put up a sign. We need to look. Okay, since y'all are with me tonight and y'all the first group that has joined me for Coach2Coach. In 24, we're going to be having the Coaches on Parade Gala. And that's going to be where we're going to get together and we're going to be, we're going to celebrate some people. I want to celebrate some people next year in a different way other than picking up the phone and saying, Kay, you did a great job. I want to be able to see Kay walk across that stage and I'll be able to give her something in her hand, tangible, other than a tangerine. hello, how you doing? I want to be able to say to Deborah Gilmore, come on in, Deborah. Thank you so much for all the hard work that you did this year. Come on in, Miss Carrie. Let me thank you publicly for all of the hard work that you did out there in the industry. Sometimes that little bit of thank you goes a whole long way. And I know some of you are going to say, we appreciate you no matter what. That is true. But I'm one to believe that sometimes you got to step out on a little bit of a stage and flash that light on somebody else. Sometimes you never know what a person is going through and how they need that push to say thank you. When you're giving a little to your fellow colleagues, when you are pushing them on a different level, sometimes that may be the only time that they get that thank you, that you did a great job. Because sometimes, can I be honest with you guys? Let me tell you, come here. I told you we was gonna have some fun. Sometimes your clients never say thank you. Isn't that amazing? Sometimes your clients never say thank you for getting them to their next level, right? So how much more would it be for your fellow colleagues to say thank you, right? How much more would it mean for your colleagues that have sat in the back seat and watched you drive that car, that little put all the way to the end and get there to the other side? Can I be honest with you? That means a whole heck of a lot to me, just as much as if one of my clients would say thank you. It's something that we have to learn, because a lot of times we have lost the feel for being appreciative to other people. To Miss Kay, Miss Carrie, to Miss Deborah, I thank you all. I thank you for what you have done for me in 23 and before, because now as we're walking into 24, I know who I can count on. I know who's out there that's pushing with me, because these ladies have told me, we appreciate you. Thank you. You did a good job. You keep on doing it. That means a lot. So I'm saying to them on tonight, thank you, ladies, for being the best people that you are in as servants to your clients as well. You girls did the daggone thing in 23. I sat back and watched you do it. Sat and watched you develop new programs. I saw you push to another level in who you are, and now you're pushing that bar up even higher. It's amazing to see somebody else do great. But it's also amazing to hear your fellow servant leaders tell you that. Don't forget to tell somebody else they did a great job. You don't know what it's like until you've never been told that. Not everybody was born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Sometimes some of us had to take the spoon that we had and put a little spray paint on the baby. Trust me, I can tell you that happens. When I think about all of the things that we have gone through in 23, there's a lot of things that nobody else can say or do that's going to make us feel any better, right? The people that we work with on a regular basis, our fellow colleagues, those people that we know got our back. But the last thing I want to tell you about tonight is this. Learn to laugh a little, cry a little, laugh, 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 pray, pray, and laugh some more. Okay, but see, I told you we're going to have fun. But there's a good thing about laughing. Even in your weakest moments, in those darkest times, there's a good opportunity for us to smile about something, right? If nothing else, when you think about being sad, think about that old girl that was on Coach2Coach and start laughing and saying, oh, she couldn't even sing an old song. Miss Carrie, you know how I love. Miss Carrie's in the music industry, so she knows how I love to just pick with music. But this is the thing. Sometimes you got to laugh it out. When I think about all of the things that has happened to me in 23 and some of the things I'm going through in 23 right now, if it wasn't for my colleagues helping me to laugh and my colleagues helping me to pray, but then for my colleagues to turn around and help me laugh again, there's sometimes I would have not made it. Even on today, there would have been some times I wouldn't have made it if it hadn't been for the laughter, if it hadn't been for the prayers, if it hadn't been for the other laughters. I'm here to tell you that there's something about understanding how your growth has been for the year. Cultivating that experience is greater than you can ever imagine. It's time for us to move to that next level. It's time for us to sign on a brother, shine, shine, shine until we can't shine anymore. I'm telling you, when it's time to think about what I need to do most, I think about Miss Carrie's program and her being servant leader to all of those people who was all about music. That's the name of her program. And how through the music itself is what has empowered them. Do you not understand how much laughter, music, praying, and more laughter can brighten your day? Well, maybe you need to add that into your process, because sometimes while you're trying to serve those clients, you as a servant leader, you as a coach, you need to say to yourself, it's okay to laugh a little, pray a lot, and then laugh some more. And then add a little music to it, Tay. Can I be honest with you? You'll never know how much that experience will change who you are. All right, guys, it's time for us to rock and roll it out of here, because guess what? Let me give you another little tidbit. I know I said 5, but something that I'm teaching not only my clients, but I'm trying to implement with every person that I meet. Take 30 minutes before you get ready to go to bed. Write this down because it's not one of my little pop-ups, right? Take 30 minutes before you get ready to go to bed and stop everything. Stop all the processes. Make sure all of your computers are shut down. Make sure you have closed. Look, I learned something the other day, guys. If you got these little pop-up cameras on your computers, you need to learn to put those down, because those can actually be seen on other parts of the world. I'm just telling you. Got a friend that's into the technology, and they continue to say, push everything down, cut off all cameras, make sure all of that stuff is cut off on your computers, right? Phones too. If you're like me, you pick up your phone in the middle of the night. But check this out. Make sure everything is shut down. Make sure that you've got that nice hot shower in. Put a little music on if you need to. I got music going all the time, right? But for 30 minutes before you go to bed, I use this for my prayer time too. But take 30 minutes before you go to bed and clear out everything. I'm going to tell you something, and I'm not going to cry. I promise I won't. I'm going to try to not anyway. This is the thing. When you have had a hard day, when you have had a hellacious day, I'm being real, y'all. This is what you're going to get when you come on the show, y'all. When you have had the day from the pit of hell. Or sometimes you could have had a great day, right, Miss K? You can have a great day, but your mind is always operating. Now, some of my fellow colleagues that are with me on tonight can tell you my brain never stops. It always goes. So, what I've learned in these last few months is having the time to take to stop. Thanks, Miss Carrie. See, Miss Carrie says she's been using that technique. Miss Carrie, I like that, girl. I'm going to have to get you to do a review on it for me. See, this is the thing. Taking that 30 minutes before you go to bed. I don't care if you get a glass of wine. I don't care if you got a hot cup of cocoa. What do you want to call it? Cocoa? Okay, whatever it is. But when you stop for that 30 minutes before you actually do anything, when you take 30 minutes to just relax, I promise you it can shift your atmosphere before you actually let your head touch the pillow. I'll be honest with you. Through these last couple of weeks, and because many of you know that I am trying to help 3 families meet some financial needs. And so for me, that has stressed me, because I don't like to see anybody hurting, right? But even with that, I've had to stop for my 30 minutes before I go to bed. And I've had to say to myself, you got to stop. You got to put everything to the side. Thanks. Yes, right, Miss Carrie. Thank you so much. Please help, because we have not met the goal, y'all. As of right now, we are so far away from the goal. We're so far from the goal. So we do need your help. We need your help. You can cash at me. You can reach out to me and I can tell you how you can help. But we are so far from the goal that we need to help these three families. We got 24 hours. We got 24 hours plus to get this done. So I do need your help. But one of the things that this has cost is sometimes it's made me feel some kind of way, right? Because thinking about my other colleagues and people that are able to. Thank you, Miss K. When I tell you that I didn't think 23 was going to be ending with me feeling this way, not only for myself, but these other families that are in need. I wasn't anticipating that, right? And I'm being honest. Even today, it took a lot just trying to mentally wrap my mind around it, right? But stopping for these last couple of nights and having to stop. Now, I've been up. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I've been up probably, I'm not going to say 24 hours. I'm going to say about 18 hours straight so far because, dealing with the circumstances. Because when I put my heart in something, I give my heart to something. When I'm upset about something, I'm upset about it, right? But even with that, I've had to take the 30 minutes. And I've had to move away from the computer. I had to cut the TV off. Miss Carrie, I even had to cut my music off for a few minutes. And I just had to stop. I had to stop and think, what do I need to do to revamp, right? So I want to encourage you to take this 30 minutes, turn the covers back, get your hot shower, get your hot toddy or cold toddy, depending on what your toddy favorite is. But get whatever you got to get. Turn, Miss Carrie, turn off the lights. And that's what I do. I turn the lights off. And I just get quiet. Like my chair that I'm sitting in right now. I get in that chair and I just sit for about 28 minutes. And I'm just sitting in this chair, no sounds, but what's outside. And meditation and praying is essential. It's needed. But taking that 30 minutes before I go to bed and asking myself, telling myself to release all the negatives that I can has started to help me sleep. Because as a coach to another coach, as a servant leader to another servant leader, we can say what we want to say, but anxieties kick us still, right? Do we not say that it's reality? I was reading an article on LinkedIn earlier about a young man that that's right, Miss K. The mind and the brain requires time to repair. I was reading about a young man. I think I want to say he was 40 years of age. Had a stroke. He was a businessman. He was a young man that was out in the community doing what he needed to do for his community. But with all of the hard work that he was doing and he was producing, and some of my fellow colleagues say this about me, Vic, you need a rest. But as I was reading this article, it kind of slapped me with some things. Because reading about this young man who was 40 years of age, they said in the article that, he was always working. He was always moving. He was doing some things and doing some things and doing some things, right? And he had a stroke. He had a stroke, y'all. But before he had the stroke, he had already made the decision that he was going to, donate his body to science or, give his body parts. I'm thinking about the article, but you guys know what I'm talking about. He was giving his body to, you know, people who needed it, right? Miss Carrie, I'm gonna try to do that too. in January, I'm gonna try my best after all of this goes past. But this young man was an entrepreneur. He was somebody out there helping his community. He was helping other people, right? Um, and the article said that the family wanted to stress how important it was for us to rest. Taking time to rest. Taking time to pause. The family was sharing the experience of watching this young man die to encourage somebody else to rest. So when I tell you taking this 30 minutes before you go to bed, it's crucial, it's important. It will help you in places that you don't even think that it will help you. Those that know me, that knows that, you know, in the last few months, I've had some medical issues that have came up. And one of the things was the doctor kept saying I'm not getting enough rest. And I'm like, how do you know that? I can tell. Can I be honest with you? Taking this on my own medicine about resting has helped me understand this process. Taking 30 minutes just to clean out your brain as much as you can will help you be able to, your body to relax. When I get off of here, I'm going to be doing some things with these arms because when you in this mode all the time. So I'm going to say this one more time and then I promise you I'm going to get out of here because I wasn't supposed to be here this long. Taking that 30 minutes before you get ready for bed to clear out your mind will allow you to be able to rest when you lay in the bed. So I'm encouraging my fellow coaches, my fellow servant leaders. It's time for us to rest. If we can't change it, we can't change it. My heart is overwhelmed with trying to meet this goal before the end of tomorrow. But even with that, I still got to rest. The two other young ladies that I am helping, I've had to tell them, we got to rest. One of the young ladies, 30 years just of some of age, and overwhelmed and stressed over what she does not know is going to happen. That's a bad feeling. That's a bad place to be by itself. But as she left my house tonight, I told her, I said, get some rest because no matter what, you still got to be functional. Can I be honest with you? Being functional means a lot. It means a lot. It means a lot. If I had known what I know now when I was homeless before, it may not would have been such a devastating place. But can I be honest with you? When you were struggling and you don't know how the end is going to be, it can be treacherous. It can be deeply emotional, especially when there are children involved, especially. But what I can tell you is this as well. Clearing the mind and resting will help us get to that next place. I'm going to have Coach K come on and talk about mindset. When I tell you that maneuvering, Miss Kirsten, she's been there, maneuvering through this process will help us make the difference, y'all. So I'm going to encourage all of my coaches to coaches, my servant leaders to servant leaders. Because doesn't matter what program you're in, if you're a coach, if you are a business person, as long as you're serving other people, that's a job. Our mothers to our mothers, that's a job. Fathers to fathers, that's a job. Coaches to coaches, that's a job. Preachers to preachers, that's a job. I'm telling you. But taking that 30 minutes of rest will make all of the difference. Look, guys, I'm going to roll up out of here because y'all going to get me emotional. And y'all know when I get emotional, I start crying and all kinds of stuff. So I'm not going to do that on the preview of Coach to Coach, right? I'm looking forward to doing so much with this because I think it's going to be beneficial to those people that need to vent on a different level, right? To get some things out of the system. Because when you've dealt with clientele of whatever source all day long, coming to a happy place with somebody else is going to be able to push you into a different level. Love you too, Miss Carrie. When I tell you that having a place where you can vent is going to make a big difference. Guys, I want you to have a great rest of your weekend. Tomorrow is Friday. If you are available at 12:30, join us on Elevation Moments. Moments with Elevation. And we're going to be out there. Hey, Miss K, I love you too, sweetheart. When I tell you at 12:30, we will be doing Elevation Moments. We will be talking tomorrow. It is Fresh Cut Friday. And we're going to come and have some fun tomorrow. It's going to be kind of laid back for that lunch break period. Come and join us. I'm going to give some techniques for some people, for my online clients to be able to how to have fun in the midst of your troubles. That's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. How to have fun in the midst of your troubles. Trust me, I got a whole book of troubles and fun things. So join us tomorrow at 12:30 for Elevation Moments, and we're going to be talking about Fresh Cut Friday, and then we'll be coming back to do Coach to Coach real soon, and we'll let you know our regular schedule when that's going to be happening. But I hope you've enjoyed us tonight. I hope you've learned some things. Please care, share, and like this, and be able to tell people to join us on the next appointed time, because you never know who might be on the stage with me talking about Coach to Coach. We'll see you real soon. Happy New Year if I don't see you real soon.